everyone, this is Yana from AliceInTechland.com. I am here today with Apple's iPad 2 running on iOS 5.0 and Samsung's Galaxy Tab 10.1 running Android 3.1, also known as Honeycomb. First, let's go through the physical differences. As you can see, there's a front-facing camera on both of these devices. There's a home button on the iPad 2. There is no dedicated home button for the Galaxy Tab, but there is this button right here, which will bring it back to the home screen. Okay, the iPad 2, you can see has a metal back. The Galaxy Tab 10.1 doesn't. It's actually made out of plastic. It does have a nice little metal trim along the top. The plastic back in this case actually helps the Galaxy Tab. It contributes to the low weight factor, but at the same time, it does make the tablet feel a little bit flimsy. In this case, the iPad 2, it feels much sturdier. And you can also see that the Galaxy Tab, you can't really tell, it's just 8.5 millimeters thick versus the iPad 2, which is 8.8 millimeters. So you can't tell the difference between the thickness of the two devices. But if that matters to you, yes, the Samsung Galaxy Tab is thinner. The Galaxy Tab is wider. It's 256.7 millimeters wide versus the iPad 2, which is just 241.2 millimeters, and it is slightly shorter, with the Galaxy being 175.3 millimeters and the iPad 2 being 185.7 millimeters. The iPad 2 is also slightly heavier as well, weighing in at 601 grams versus the Tab weighing at just 565 grams. So in the long run, it probably won't be too much of a difference, but the Galaxy Tab is a little bit lighter. The Galaxy Tab 10.1 has a 10.1-inch plane-to-line switching TFT LCD display. The iPad 2 has a 9.7-inch, which is slightly smaller. It has a LED backlit in-plane switching LCD display. What both of those technologies offer is that you can view the display at multiple angles with no disruption at all, so you get image clarity, which is great for viewing movies if you're sharing display with someone else. The Galaxy Tab, however, does have a higher resolution. It's got a 1280 by 800 resolution with a 149 ppi widescreen display. The iPad 2's only got a 1024 by 768 resolution screen with 132 ppi. So in this case, the Galaxy Tab does win out. Both of these devices come with 802.11 ABGN Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 2.1. The Galaxy Tab has a better battery. In this case, it has a 7,000 milliamp battery. The iPad 2 with only 6,750. Both of these devices actually have pretty good battery life. I didn't really time my usage with the Galaxy Tab, but I would say it's pretty much on par with the iPad 2. Pricing wise, both of these tablets are the same. The Samsung tablet does not come in 3G models, so just for the sake of the comparison, we're only pricing the Wi-Fi versions. Both the iPad 2 and the Tab, they are $499 for the 16 gig versions and $599 for the 32 gig versions. Neither of these tablets have expandable memory, but the Samsung Tab does have an extra accessory where you can expand its memory by up to 32 gigabytes with an SD card. The accessory does not come with the tablet, so you have to purchase it separately. Now let's talk about the cameras on both of these tablets. The iPad 2 actually has a pretty disappointing 0.3 megapixel VGA front camera. The Samsung Tab wins out in this case. The front-facing camera is 2 megapixels. The back cameras for both of these tablets, they do record HD video of up to 720p. The iPad 2 has a 0.7 megapixel fixed focus camera, but as you can see, there is no flash on this device. The Samsung Tab does have flash, has an LED flash, and it comes with a 3 megapixel camera right in the back. Let's go into the camera apps for both of these tablets so I can show you a little bit of the differences. As you know, I've shown you in the previous video for iOS 5.0. There are some extra features for the iPad 2 right now. You get this grid-like option where you can activate under the options menu. You can turn it off if you don't want it. With the tablets, you can switch easily between back and front-facing cameras. You can switch from camcorder to camera very easily. For the iPad 2, there is a dedicated capture button right now. So instead of having to just solely press this capture button on screen right here, which could get a little bit awkward. You could press the up volume button right along the side, just like that. I will be taking pictures with both of these tablets. I'll put them up on our website, AllisonTechland.com, so you can always judge for yourself to see what you think about image quality for either of these devices. Both of these tablets now, especially with iPad 2 being on 5.0, you could edit your photos directly on the tablets. I'll show you how to edit photos on iPad 2 in just a little bit. With the tab, there is no dedicated capture button like you can see on the iPad 2. You can press this little button right here on screen to capture your images. Only problem with this is there's a bit of a delay with the capture, so some images could come out a little blurry, so make sure you hold your hands very still. There is autofocusing on this tablet though, so that's a pretty neat feature. Right now, flash is turned off. There are some options which you get to choose from on the side, like right here. If you select this, you get to select your shooting mode. This is not available on iPad 2. There's a single shot, smell shot, panorama, which is a pretty cool feature where you get to take panoramic shots, and there is an action shot for faster moving subjects. Then right here, there's also a timer which you can turn on or off. You can set the timers between 2, 5, and 10 seconds. You can also set your exposure, so you can always adjust the brightness of your photo. And of course, there is the settings button right there on the bottom, where you get to select your focus mode, where you can put on auto or not, your scene mode, white balance, effects, which you can choose from grayscale, sepia, negative, or none. You can select your resolution, your metering, and your GPS tagging. Let's go back. Let's go into the gallery for a bit so I can show you some of the features there. Let's select it. Alright, so now you're displaying your photo gallery. Let's select one of these images that I've taken earlier. As you can see, you can either put it onto slideshow, you can trash the image if you don't want it, and right here, which I really want to show you, is the sharing options. You can share it between Picasa, Bluetooth, Twitter, Gmail, and any other email that you choose to set up on this tablet. Do note that Twitter doesn't come with this tablet. You do have to install it. It is for free through Android Market, so it isn't a big issue. But once you do install it, it becomes integrated like this. Now, on the iPad, there are sharing options as well. I mentioned in the previous video that the OS actually is pretty heavily integrated with Twitter. Let's go back into the home menu. Let's select photos. Okay, so let's take one of these images, for instance. What I really want to show you is, of course, you get the editing options. I'll show you that in a little bit. You get your slideshow option and your trash option, and of course your sharing options gives you the ability to email your photo, assign it to a contact, use it as wallpaper. Those two functions you could actually do on the Samsung tab as well. I'll show you that in a little bit. You can print, you can copy, and of course you can tweet. Okay, you do have to install your Twitter, or at least set up your Twitter account first before that option will become available. So under the edit tab, right on the bottom, you can see that there's a rotate option, an enhance option, a red eye option, and a cropping option. On the Samsung tab, when you select the action bar, you can edit the photo directly as well. You can rotate it left to right. You can set your picture as either a contact photo, your lock screen, or your wallpaper. Let's go back. Or you can crop your image as well. There is no red eye function as you get on the iPad 2, but that is probably not something you have to really worry about anyway.